Greetings. Welcome back. I forgot to turn on my light. Ding! We have light. Behold! I hope everyone's doing fine today. Kitty the Hut's back, of course. We had some issues. Odyssey wasn't loading until I did a reboot. And, well, not a reboot, but refresh the page. And now I can see everybody's been over here chatting, although I have people back here chatting from 6 days ago and 5 days ago. 5 days ago. I have no earthly idea what's going on Odyssey right now. They were having some issues when I was uploading earlier today, too. In fact, even my stream screwed up. My stream even says another facial false arrest. Are we in the right spot? I'm in the wrong spot. I have no idea where we're at, except the stream looked correct. So something goofy is going on at Odyssey. I did set up a proper stream with a proper title. I don't know what's going on with Odyssey. But hey, if the video plays and I can see up-to-date comments, that's good enough. So we do have the Anchorage is on there and Red Iculus is on there as well. So greetings. But I just don't know what's going on. I don't know. So there was some weird goofiness going on while I was setting the stream up today too. So, okay, we'll accept it. Rumble looks online, and Gloria, you never show the kitty landing. I know that. That's because he landed long time ago. About 13 years ago. The kitty, oh man, the kitty's an unruly teenager. Unruly teenager? He just got up and looked at me. All right, we have a nice open door backdrop today. Nice fresh air coming in. That's good. Another breath of fresh air is that we are testing, getting off of Verizon's teat. And I did find another company that's giving me twice the amount of data as Verizon did for only $10 a month more, but I am seeing some rumblings that Verizon may raise their rates again, so it might be about the same price, twice the data. And I was a little concerned because my modem is obscure, but it was on their official compatibility list. I gave them the IMEI number. They sent me a SIM card it only took 2 days. I ordered it Monday. It showed up on Wednesday, and I popped it in, and I was actually getting better service all the places that I was getting with Verizon. And so that was really good. I'll announce who that company is in a bit. I want to do some more testing with them first, and then we'll see if they have an affiliate program. That'd be fun. They're good old boys out of Tennessee, and when you call them up, they got 2 employees that will answer the phone, so an actual person in this country at least picks up the phone. Very nice guys, and so I paid them, and we'll see what happens. So next plan, we're going to suspend the Verizon line for a month just to see how this works, and as long as this makes it through the first billing cycle without any hitches, then we will go ahead and turn the Verizon back on. Or we'll cancel the Verizon. So what precipitated it, of course, I've had my eye on the company. I've been keeping an eye on them for like 6 months. 6 months ago when I first looked into them, they only had one plan, which was capped at 50 Mbps and 150 a month, which is more than I was paying. I'm like, I don't want to pay that much more, especially right now. Everything else is going up in price. I didn't want to, increase my internet bill by 1/3 is what that would have been. But they just recently launched a plan which caps the data at 25 Mbps. I'm like, and it's about the same price. I'm like, I can do that because I don't really need more than that. And most places I go in the country, that's about the most I see in most places anyway. It bursts higher, but then if you're doing a consistent poll, it will teeter itself down to that amount. And the squirrels are attacking my van again, dropping pine cones on me. And so I went in with that. Now, of course, the conflict was Verizon decided I guess it was a month or two ago, that account security was very important. And so they enabled 2-factor authentication for everybody's accounts. I don't have a cell phone, and they kept on trying to text a 2-factor authentication code to my modem, which can't receive a 2-factor authentication code. So I call them up, and they're like, well, you got to go into a corporate store. Go to the corporate store, like, oh, we don't know how to do that. Now, we did get it taken care of by verifying an email address, and now I don't have any 2-factor authentication on there at all, apparently. So Verizon has lost its ever-loving mind. I've run into issues like this before where I wanted to cancel a line. Yeah, I wanted to cancel the line at one point in time, go into the corporate store. They're like, well, you have to do that online. It's like, I'm sorry. No, I bought the line here at this corporate store. You're a corporate store. Cancel the damn line. And they're like, no, we can't do that.
It's like if you want to see your account on your computer through the Verizon website, you go, you log into your account, and then it sits there and parks and tells you to check your Verizon app on your phone. Then you have to go to your Verizon app on your phone and hit allow, and then the website.
Yeah, and I don't have a Verizon app on my phone. Pez off, I'm not doing that crap. And so it's like, okay, you guys just made my life inconvenient. On top of that, I go into the corporate store. I'm standing there for a half an hour before a single employee acknowledges I'm standing there in their lobby. It's just like, this is nonsense. Like, give me back that hour of my life, please. But so I was like, all right, we're done. We're done. Y'all insanity pushed me over the edge. So if it was a simple matter, call them up. Oh, that's great. We'll turn off two-factor authentication. I wouldn't even have the time to look into it. Would have kept status quo. But no, they had to push the insanity.
The big shots probably just made it corporate policy, and nobody knows how to deal with it.
That's about it. So happy to be dealing with a small company again, and hey, we won't have to worry about watching the bandwidth as much because I get twice the internet, twice the cap. So I'm at 300 MB or 300 gigabytes per month, which, I've crossed the 150 a couple times. So 300 won't be a problem. Maybe I can even download Linux distributions on here. I don't know. But anyway, how's it going, Dan?
Soggy.
Foggy. All right. And soggy. Soggy. Yeah. Rain, which is coming my way. Salbu, you got rain up there or ice or snow or?
Yeah, we had some rains in Scandinavia in the last couple of weeks. So Norway, Sweden, and Denmark, and I think also some of the Baltic countries had flooding and So the country was effectively cut in half for 3 or 4 days.
And Ivan, what's going on your way?
Not too much. It's clouded the past couple of days. Little touch of rain here and there, and nice and cool fall is knocking on the door.
And I am waiting for that. I am just in the process of taking care of my trips. So right now it looks as though I am going to go west through the central part of the country. I'm going to go down to Kentucky. Sorry, my friends in Tennessee, I'm not going to make it back down there right now. If it's a mild winter again, I'll come back up in March. But I'm going to go down into Kentucky because there is a friend I have down there, which I forgot to text you. If you're watching, hi, I'm going to give you a call soon.
Are you going to stop and see the Ark?
That's one of the things that's on my list to see is there's the Ark. There's also Mammoth Caves. But I forgot there's one more national park in southern Colorado I have not been to. So I'm going to go there and then go up to Rocky Mountain National Park. And then the ultimate goal is I'm going to be in central Utah for the full solar eclipse, which is October 14th, which is a Saturday. So we will, central Utah is in the 100% path of totality. You will have a ring of fire. It'll be kind of neat. So then once I get from there, I'm going to head on over through Nevada and into the mountains in California for a couple of weeks and then hang out in Sacramento for a few weeks. So it's kind of what my rough plan looks like up until around the end of this year. And we'll start traveling next week. So this is the last week I am here in State College. We have to start up in Erie for a little bit, and then we're going to the friend has a new house down by Akron, Ohio. We're going to swing by there, and then we're going to start heading down into Kentucky after that. So it'll be
that's cool. Trips. You'll be able to see your friends on the dark side of the moon.
Yeah. I mean, I got friends all over the place. Actually, I have clients of mine, good friends. I mean, I'd like to say friends. Digital friends, I've worked with them on their websites for over a decade. Actually, the musician and his manager was actually one of my first probably 5 or 10 clients when I started web design years back. But that guy is actually a ranger at Rocky Mountain National Park. So I'm going to get some tips from him about things to go see that are possibly not as touristy. and get a chance to visit down there. And actually I picked up another client in that town as well, so I'm going to see about making a few business trips into some folks right off a few miles. That'd be fun. Not the whole trip to Colorado, of course, but we can write off a few here and there.
One advice that I would suggest in preparation for the eclipse, there is special glasses that you can get.
Yeah, I'll have some. Friend of mine's an astronomer, and I actually have one of the a solar shield or a welding shield that should be good as well. One of the welding masks. You can actually look at the sun.
Yeah, you need the one for arc welding, not the one for gas welding.
Yeah, it's a specific grade of mask. I forget what it is, but I have one.
So I have one of these lying around somewhere that I used 6 or 7 years ago when it was visible here in Europe. My area, it was only parts of it, 2/3 were visible, were covered. But even then, you had to use these special glasses, and it looks like I have glasses with the aluminum foil.
Yeah, you don't want the Chinese ones because they're probably just Mylar, which will not save your eyes. But I will have good certified ones when I get out there. So that'll be fun. I'll actually be bumping into 2 astronomers before that, and so I'll make sure I have a pair of eclipse glasses. So that's that. And I guess there's one other thing. If you are a supporter on any of the platforms, the first science fiction article went up on Tuesday, I think. And it's a pretty good one. It is pretty sweet. And mostly dealing with the type of tech that they're trying to cram into cars. So if you're a car buff, it might be one you want to look at. And it looks at some of the laws surrounding it and some of the issues surrounding it. Our next story, which I wrote the storyboards today, is going to involve, I'm not going to divulge much, it's going to involve Microsoft, AI, and smart home technology, and possibly a descent into insanity. Possibly. So stay tuned for that. We are way late to start on our topic, but I think you guys like the stream stuff. Let's go ahead and check in on comments, and maybe if you all remind me, I'll go ahead and put a timestamp when we actually start the content. I don't know. Maybe I should just cut the content out of this one and be like, hey, let's just cut the content out and upload that separately, since I don't have to watch my bandwidth quite as much. Who knows? Maybe even we go back to restreaming at 1080p again. That'd be neat. But let's see. Check in on comments, and then we'll actually get into our topic. I'm just going to scroll really quick to see if there's anything else. Can't get the homepage anymore. YouTube forced me to turn on watch history. Yeah, that's a new update to YouTube, where if you're turning off watch history, they're giving you like nothing. Which, I don't know. Some people might like that. Some people don't. Do a band news on Maui tomorrow. Well, if you send me an article that's like, a note about those, like, the band news isn't just like, it's not political type stuff. It's got to be related to tech. It's got to be related to the core of the channel, privacy or tech or business, with a hinge of the forbidden politics. That's what has to be on the band. So I know some people are just putting out just political stuff. I'm not interested in covering just political stuff. You know, Joe Biden's a creepy dude. He says strange things about daddy and ice cream. Just look at the news today. I don't care. We want to focus explicitly on how those types of things impact us in the tech world. So if there's an article about that related to tech, some early warning app that was supposed to work didn't help, I'll cover that and decide where to put it. But I'm not covering the conspiracies around what's going on in Maui right now. Let's see, on my phone for a few minutes, setting up Chromecast for someone else. I was going to say, don't set up for you. Although I did get a notification, my Miracast device should be in on Saturday, so look for a video on Miracast earlier. Let's see, I have two cell phone plans for AT&T and Verizon at work. Don't like my job. It gives me 50% off phone plans. There you go. Ever been to Iowa? Of course I've been to Iowa. I've been in all of the lower 58s. In fact, I drive through Iowa. I'm very mad. In Iowa, on I-80, there used to be 100-foot tall statue of a corn stalk, and they took it down a good decade ago. Where's my 100-foot tall corn stalk in Iowa, guys? Really?
The Chinese bought it.
Probably. I don't know, China Cast. There you go. Just got a fake Polish license plate that says Linux on it. Nice. From the Polish guy. All right. Let's see. Yeah, the comments are doing weird stuff over here. Let's see.
Yeah, the comment from Kelvin made me smile. Kentucky Fried Roadkill.
Yeah.
Yep. Let me open the chat over here in case I do have the locals chat pulled up today. If anybody's over there, we need to get a bigger locals community over there, though. Maybe I need to be a little bit more.
Speaking of license plates, in the documentary that came out, one of the documentaries that came out in 2001, the car that Linus Torvalds used at that time had an had a real license plate which said the Linux on it.
Nice. We had somebody in grad school. Somebody had a Porsche that with like Delta H in the physics department, of course, or it's like mechanical engineering. Courtney, pray for Courtney. There is an active Pewee in the area, so keeping an eye out. So we'll be thinking about you, Courtney. Stay safe. Definitely catch the show later. Yikes. Well, we've identified where that person lives. Well, maybe not. Too much. All right. Let's see. We're only 17 minutes in. Let's get to the topic, shall we? It's a short one. It's an easy one. I was looking at all the stuff today, and I had so many things to do, so I wanted to go ahead and do something quick and easy. This was in my business news, and I had too much business news, so I thought it'd be a good one, though, because it's a nice evangel for Linux as well. Of course, Windows is always trying to force people up into Windows 11. They're just like, we need to get the Windows 11 going up, and so now their plan is so they put into Windows 11 in the Windows backup system an option to back up all of your data to the cloud, which is a really bad idea. But these guys here at NeoWin are super Windows fanboys, so they're thinking this is the greatest thing in the history of the universe. So you turn this on and it syncs everything from your computer, like everything. We're talking passwords, we're talking settings, we're talking apps, we're talking files, everything. I mean, according to these guys, this is hot. Look at that. It says hot right there. Under the big title there, hot. So they weren't putting this as a feature into Windows 10. However, the latest canaries for 10 are showing this feature in there. So what they're doing, apparently, is they're giving people with Windows 10 the ability to use the new backup experience. You can back up all of your stuff up to there, but you cannot restore your stuff from Windows Cloud Backup into your Windows 10 machine.
Yeah.
So you can put all your stuff there from Windows 10. You just can't restore into Windows 10. You have to have a Windows 11 to restore it.
Then what good is it?
Well, what good is it is to make sure that you have all your transitions so that when you need a brand new computer...
This is a push to get people off Windows 10 onto 11, which a lot of people do not like 11.
Correct. In fact, I think that was one of the comments. If it wasn't in this one, it was one of the other ones down here. Probably because they knew that Windows 10 users will need these backups once they tried Windows 11 and get back to 10 again. I love that comment. So that's really the push. Now, to be fair, you're not going to go to a store right now and buy a Windows 11 device or a Windows 10 device. You go to a store and buy a computer. Now, you still download a Windows 10 and install it? I don't know about that. I am probably going to guess that Windows has probably taken the Windows 10 install files off their servers. You could probably find one on some like torrent or something, which I would highly recommend you do not do. It's a good way to get
or you could this is legal, by the way. You could copy an ISO from someone else who has this, and because you still need to have your own license key in order to...
that is perfectly legal. If you know somebody that has one, or if you have a backup for your Windows 10. As of right now, as far as I know, the license keys for Windows 10 and Windows 11 are perfectly interchangeable, unless something has changed. The last I've heard, that is the case. But I
just watched a video about 3 days ago. I forgot who it was from, but they actually it was a video about Ventoid and all the tools. and the guy was playing it up as Ventoid being a repair toolbox for Windows. So he had all kinds of stuff on it, and he showed how you can load Windows 10 from the Media Creative tool onto Ventoid. You can still get it. He was showing that, and Windows 11, and a bunch of other Swiss Army knife things that they have for Windows that I know nothing about.
Yeah, so if you download a copy of Windows, and you don't have you can't create or don't want to create their official Microsoft install system, you can drop that ISO for Windows onto Ventoy.
He showed how to get it for 10 from Microsoft.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. So I guess you probably still can. Let's have a look at the article real quick, and then I'll talk about maybe what's behind the series, which is really hilarious because these guys are so fanboys. It's just like they're like, I swear, Bill Gates and whoever the current CEO is, they run by these guys' office just to fart every once in a while so these guys can sniff their farts. In May 2023, Windows 11 build was released on the dev channel. They announced a new app for backup settings, files, apps, and other things in your computer. Some thought the Windows backup app would be exclusive to Windows 11 update, but as it turned out, Microsoft wants Windows 10 users to have access to the new backup experience. Sounds like it was written by a Windows customer service agent. Yeah. This week, Microsoft released build 19045.3391, testing in the release preview channel. After installing the update, users discovered and announced changed. The new Windows backup app, you can run the program from the start menu to backup folders, apps, credentials, and settings. That credentials, by the way, is passwords in your OneDrive. So now you can store all of your stuff in OneDrive. So here's a picture of it. So here's them showing that this is Windows 10 Pro, the current specific OS build, and here's the Windows backup here, showing that you can go into your settings, your folders, your apps, your settings, your credentials, so Wi-Fi networks and other passwords, all of your settings, and then you hit your backup button. And what struck me is this little blue thing right here that says privacy statement. Right on this app is a privacy statement. We're going to get to that in just a moment. So they say down here, interestingly, the build cannot restore from a OneDrive backup during the onboarding experience, leaving some speculating about Microsoft bringing the application to make migrating to Windows 11 easier, which, to be fair, that is the case. If I have a Windows 10 computer and I am a computer ignoramus and I need a new computer and the option to put all this stuff up into the cloud and then pull it back down on the new computer, that could be appealing.
Yeah, that's what's already being done on iPhones and Androids.
Yeah, if you're using like Google or probably Samsung or Apple, that same type of thing happens. Of course, the computer is a little bit different in that it does store files usually a little bit differently. Android's about the same, but the case. Now, I really love this paragraph here. This is my favorite paragraph. So other changes in Windows 10 build include various under-the-hood improvements. For example, the operating system is now better at detecting your location. No, not for spying. Couldn't be for spying. It's for providing better weather and news and traffic information and other geo-based data, like, advertising stuff and spying. Yeah. Okay. If you're collecting it for one purpose, you can use that for another purpose. Okay. Update also introduces new account-related notifications, daylight savings, time changes for new countries, and various fixes. You can learn more by checking out the release notes. So it's a surprise. It's a very welcome surprise. It's amazing. We didn't know we were getting any more feature updates to Windows 10. Oh, smart. Fart over here again, Bill Gates. Oh, so good, Bill Gates. I know it's not for spying. You wouldn't possibly do anything like that. So I did want to have a look at the Microsoft privacy statement. And sorry, I boggled Dan's eyes out with this. How far did you get, Dan?
I got about almost halfway through it.
Yikes. So here's about the halfway mark. Products provided by your organization, notice to end users. So I was most interested in up here, of course, personal data we collect. You see these three big paragraphs. They collect data from you through our interactions with you or through our products. You provide some data directly. We get some of it by collecting data about your interactions, use, and experiences with our products. Data we collect depends on the context of your interactions and the choices you make, including your privacy settings and the products and features you use. We also obtain data about you from third parties. So they're supplementing the data they know about you from data harvesters, data collectors, and that other abominable scum that should be banished from all business in America. If you represent an organization such as a business or school that utilizes enterprise developer products from Microsoft, see the enterprise and developer product sections. That's how we process your data. If you're an end user of Microsoft products, and it looks like my Jitsi just decided to die, so we'll give that a second while I keep reading. Please see the enterprise, and let's see. Please see those. You have choices when it comes to technology you use and the data you share. When we ask, let's go and do that. There we are. The choices you use when the technology and the data you share. I gotta fix that as well. There we are. Greetings. Welcome back, everyone. Might be about time to reboot the Jitsi server again. We choose not to provide data. Required to provide you with a correct feature. You cannot use the product or feature. So if you choose not to provide the data, you can't use the product or feature. Now, the one I was most interested in is how we use your personal data. So remember, you're taking all of your stuff and you're putting it on their cloud servers. Okay, Microsoft uses the data we collect to provide you with rich interactive experiences like, stalkers and malware, malvertising. There you go. In particular, we use data to provide our products, which includes updating security, troubleshooting, providing support, also includes sharing data when it's required to provide the service or carry out the transactions. Okay, that's pretty standard. To improve and develop our products, that's a little nebulous. To personalize our products and make recommendations, that's pushing ads on you. And then to advertise and market to you, which includes sending promotional communications, targeted advertising, and presenting you with relevant offers. So you want to store all of your stuff on their servers so that they can skim through all of your stuff because they own those servers. They can see what's on there, whether it's quote-unquote encrypted or not. And now they can see all of this information so that they can market and promote and target advertising and present relevant offers. If you watch any of my stuff, the most relevant offer is the one that doesn't make there. If Google really is going to show me relevant offers, every time I pull up a page, it should just show me an empty ad slot because I want to see your crap. Okay? I'm a minimalist. I don't want stuff. Okay? If there's a service out there, I'm going to try and build it myself before buying it from you. Okay? So that's kind of the stuff. Now, again, as I like to say, advertising is not the end all. I have a serious problem with companies. This is why I'm not about to start taking, not a huge criticism, but a minor one, like the tech lore approach. Let's look at every alleged privacy service and see which is the best privacy service. I'm sorry, any privacy service that wants me to give you my email for future marketing, that's not a privacy service. Okay? No. It's better to not give all of my data to this one company that's allegedly going to be a better privacy company. I'm not interested in that stuff. I don't know how you guys feel. All right, I've monopolized time enough. What do you guys think?
Well, first of all, Microsoft is a company. It has probably thousands of people within its borders of the name Microsoft company. And they can't possibly watch everybody every single minute of the day. And when you get into these companies that have servers and they have your personal information on them, there could be a couple bad apples in there that are, opening back doors for other companies to come in exchange for getting their hand greased with some money to have access to the data in the servers, or they could be taking it home with them, or they could, It's not as secure as people think it is. When people start talking security, even some of the big box stores in the past, you've had trouble with internal store thefts from the employees.
Yep.
It happens everywhere. You can't lock this stuff down. The only way you keep it safe is to keep it to yourself.
Yep. And now to browse Walmart.com, you must give them an email address.
Yeah.
Another person had sent me that email this week. We covered that. I think we covered that on the Thursday stream last week, right? So yeah. Salbu, thoughts?
So regarding emails, whenever I need to use an email to register somewhere, I create a new email just for that service. And in some cases, once I get what I need from the service, I deactivate that email. But mostly I just let it stay alive on my server, the address. And if I started to get spam to some account, then I know which one leaked it. And so far, there's only been once or twice when an email has leaked that I can remember over the last 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I have about 130 different email addresses to various sites.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a good way to do it. Yeah. Ivan, thoughts?
Yeah, it's continuing on Sobu's comment there about email addresses and stuff like that. It just makes me think about like why I created my my junk email, which is basically my business email. So it's like, yeah, all of my stuff can go into this one here, and I can create rules to treat domains and stuff like that, to be like, hey, if something comes in from that, delete it, whatever, and so on and so forth. And by doing that, my personal one, it gets nothing as a result, and I'm okay with that. It's just like, okay, yeah, this business, that business, and so on. Yeah, you guys can just send to this one miscellaneous one, and it doesn't matter who. You can just do it like that. And if I want to treat anybody with any particular treatment or something like that, I can make a rule on it, and it just does it.
There you go.
So it's that approach, I find it a very good approach, and it works very well for me. And and with everything with like how Microsoft is performing, trying to guide everybody down towards an easier way to cause everyone onto Windows 11. It's like, yeah, they're pushing the most recent product, but they still have to support 10 until the 10's cutoff, which is what, 25.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, I don't know when their cutoff is, but
yeah, and it's like,
just so, like people are still like not wanting to abandon 7 yet.
Yeah, and it's and there's a lot of folks that want that are using 10 that still want to continue with 10, and if they have to recover, like if they have to do like a rebuild or a reinstall and so on and so forth, and they just want to bring stuff back over, they should be allowed to do so. And Microsoft is saying, nope, you can't. You need to buy something new because we want your money. And I don't agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
There's another huge problem with this too, that a lot of Microsoft product users may not know, is your internet speed. If you're going to endeavor in something like this, you should know what your maximum upload speed and your maximum download speed will be, or else your computer may be on all night and part of the next day just uploading your stuff because you got 5 megabytes of upload.
Yeah, gigabytes, terabytes.
Yeah.
What are we had an NSA spy joined us. Would you like to jump in, NSA spy, or just waiting until the show's over? Not sure. Okay. Then just FYI, everyone that jumps on that just mutes himself and doesn't tell us who they are. We just assume you're the FBI until you give us advice otherwise. Okay. Yeah, we had one more person jump on. It might be just an FYI also for anybody that are supporters. We hang out for about a half hour or so after the show's over, after we go offline. So if you're like, I kind of want to chat with everybody, but I don't want to be on the stream itself, you can feel free to jump on and unmute yourself when we actually go live. Or go off live, I should say. So the next thing is, of course, this is a push to get people to Windows 11. The backup strategy is okay. But one of the things that I want to look at here is, anything that makes us lazier with our tech is always a bad thing. In fact, a friend of mine just converted from a smartphone to a flip phone, and got an MP3 player to. The FBI agent has identified himself. Hi, Mark. So he got an MP3 player so he could still listen to MP3s and stuff, and without having to have the smartphone and things. And he's like, it's a complete foreign idea to him how to manage files on a computer and how to back up and how to restore. And these are fundamental things that we need to know, because if we do not know these things, we are going to find ourselves in 23 owning nothing and being as happy about it as we can be. Just putting everything inside of there. That the reason that prophecy of 2030 you will own nothing and be happy will occur because of the laziness of the people not wanting to do the things they need to do to maintain control of their life. And that's really where our backup happens to be, is that you need to have an ability here to have a backup, have a good backup strategy and system, and know how to implement that. Which, if you know how to do that, you can do that with Windows, you can do that with Mac, and more importantly, you can do that with Linux. Now, if you do want to run automated backups and stuff, even on Linux, you can do that. You can connect Linux backup tools to an EC cloud, to a Google Docs account, to a Microsoft account, or to a local server. You can attach it to a Nextcloud account. You can do all that kind of fun stuff. To do full system backups if you want to do such a thing. So those are thoughts to keep in mind. But with that being said, this is a push to get people from Windows 10 onto Windows 11, taking advantage of the possibility of, spilling coffee on the keyboard or something like that. I have to buy a new computer. Well, you have no choices now but Windows 11, because all of your data is stored in the cloud. But to get it, you must use our new privacy invading technology that my cousin refers to as an abortion, by the way. I think he means abomination, but I'm not completely sure. If he's really aborting Windows 11, he'd be on with Linux by now, but he's not. So that's okay.
You'd be surprised how many people, especially gamers, know enough how to install a game, run it, and play a game. But if their system was to break in any way or do anything goofy,
clueless.
They haven't got a clue to do anything, how to fix it.
That's why it's a myth that everybody in society is in 2023 is tech savvy. And I used to think that as a kid growing up. I used to think, everybody knows how to do this stuff now. What is the point of me doing tech work if everybody ought to know how to do this stuff now? It's just, you just push buttons now. It's like, and then I realized, well, it's not quite that simple, and nobody's going to wake up in the morning and put it all together overnight.
Yeah, it takes time. It takes time. And that was, I've told the story many times before. My transition to Linux was not a very fast thing. In fact, I think the final computers got taken mostly offline only a few months before I moved into the van. I kept all my current systems working, the Windows system working, while I ran other operating systems, learning how to use them, learning how to cover everything, and covering every basis of things I need to know how to do. How do I back up my files? How do I manage all the things? How do I organize them? How do I do all the things I need to do in order to make this work? Those are the things that I needed to keep in mind. And the reality of it is that I'm not asking anybody to completely delete Windows off your system and jump over to Linux and be done with it. Because we have to take the understanding that it does take time to learn these things, to your point, Mark.
Yeah, that's just more confirmation bias in my mind. I've been thinking about shifting into tech training and education and kind of...
Yeah. Or if you can do online courses right now are huge. I thought about doing some. I don't know. Maybe we can partner up and put some. Things together.
They're already big. They're already a big deal. And the thing about it, if you or me could put together like a quality course with a lot of know-how and experience, whereas a lot of these people that make a lot of money on their courses, they're not that good. They're just not.
Yeah. Correct. And I don't know. That's maybe that's the thing. Would there be an audience in a switching to Linux course? I don't know. What would that look like?
Well,
those are good questions.
I could see you doing doing a course on that.
Well, one of the imperative challenges to doing that is I would need to have an up-to-date Mac and up-to-date Windows computers to show people the beginning process. If nothing else, borrow them off of somebody or something,
Yeah.
If you're somewhere in the route from here to Erie to Akron to Kentucky, and I can experiment on your system, maybe we'll talk, so I think that's kind of the bottom of my content. This is yet another opportunity for us to talk about the power of Linux. If you want the cloud backups, you can do it on Linux, but it's usually better to not, and it's usually better if you're not forced into another operating system. So, anybody have any final thoughts to jump onto before we? My
thought is that so long as this is an opt-in service, like the user has to activate it and turn on the cloud backup, then we wouldn't have any.
That is my understanding. My understanding is you have to activate it. However, as of right now, remember this is being crammed into Windows 11, which is already now forcing you to create an online Microsoft account in order to access the desktop version.
It nags you about every 5 days if you don't do it. It just keeps nagging you to make a Microsoft account.
I wonder how many, because I'll watch a lot of people on YouTube, and it's not always the tech guys. I don't watch a ton of your tech YouTubers. Some of them I do, but I'll be watching a guy who's not as tech savvy. They're using Windows when you hear the Windows notification sound show up in their stream or in their video. It's like, I wonder, is that a notification? I bet it is. I bet that's the Windows computer popping up. Hey, use a Windows account.
And I've tried a lot of the published registry hacks too to try and get rid of the Microsoft account crap. They work fine until you get the very next update, and then it's just wiped out, and it's back to, we want you to sign up for an account.
Yeah.
Yep. Indeed.
The good thing about this new development with the new backup system is that people are always telling everyone to you should have a backup and it should be automated and so forth. What Microsoft are doing, there are some downsides with it that we can see, but one of the upsides is that a lots of users are going to have a free backup service that is, I'm quite sure it's once you turn it on, it's automated and it back up what you tell it to back up automatically. So when things do go wrong, then they have an easier way to restore what is already backed up.
I prefer to supervise all my backup things and do them manually. Like this right here is a forced Clonezilla disk.
Yeah,
it's got my entire machine's operating system cloned to this. I can take out my NV drive and plug this in, and it'll boot off of that.
It is good to have an automated backup, but do not rely on the automated backup. It's good to have it in case you need it, but you should always also do some manual backups as well, particularly for your core files.
Well, I have a 1 terabyte scratch disk in the machine that I copy stuff over, and if it's really important, I also put it on a USB stick as well.
Yeah.
There is one caveat that I couldn't see with this backup. Let's assume that this is with all the good intentions from Microsoft, and they don't have any, and that let's say for the argument that they don't spy or keep a track of what you have in your backups. But there are instances where I think Google did this. When some files were flagged for some reason and the entire account was shut down. For this thing to be automated, and they should not be forced by anyone to official agency to shut down any accounts or be forced to remove files when they are the ones who are configured the backup system for
that does raise a question. Having all of your stuff on there, it means Microsoft can be ordered by a government to give all of the data to that government agency without telling the end user. It also means Microsoft can at any time, for any reason, terminate the account, in which case you lose everything. So relying on these types of services is a really, really bad thing.
And they know where you live on top of that.
They do, and that's terrifying. All right. I think we're going to go ahead and have a look at our comments before we jump off. I'm not seeing anything new on The Lost Stepchild or on Twitchy. No Twitchy people over there. Rumble. We got 12 people over on Rumble. Microsoft equals Zaleron, one ring to rule them all. When they said you will own nothing and be happy, that also includes your personal data. There you go. That's right. They want to know, like, I posted a link on the Matrix server today. If you're not on the Matrix server, go check it out. If you can't find it in the public directory, just go to the website, switchedtolinux.com. Go down to the bottom there, and it is linked in the footer.
This is something like a kind of a what you call...
On that, hold on, Dan. On that server, I put, I think it's in the general comments, a link to a video today from TruthStream Media. And they are literally talking about hacking your dreams to advertise to you while you sleep. And this was actually implemented during some Super Bowls and things. They were trying to get you to dream about the products, and then mentioning that on social media to the company would result in you getting to share a case with somebody else that you shared it with. Go ahead, Dan.
This is some real blunt confusion going on. They want to continuously feed you ads for something or everything they can think of, but they want you to own nothing and be happy.
Well, yeah, I mean that's they want.
What do they really want?
They ultimately want to give you a UBI, and then you choose. You don't own any of that money. That's just digital currency that has to be used at the end of the month. And if it's not used, you'll lose it. So now they're all fighting over which services do you subscribe to. It's a weird blending of this is not a political term, but the term democratization in economics has more of a derived idea of saying the democratization says, well, you like the P word stuff and the other guy likes the Christian stuff, and so we're going to have both of it in our economy, and the guy that likes the P word stuff will spend all his money over here, and the guy that likes Christian stuff will spend all his money over here. That's democratization in economics. So they want to have a series of companies which probably all own each other. I mean, the biggest Christian publisher is also owned by the biggest porn publisher, so go figure. But at the same time, the people at the top are making money no matter what. They want to have a digital currency, a UBI. They're issuing you the money, and then you just decide where that money, which one of the companies that money filters into at the end of the month. That's their ultimate goal, and we have to stand in the way of that.
I would be okay with the UBI. I can kind of understand it, but it's a way for them to control, and it's going to recycle. Your money goes away at the end of the month.
I was thinking about some of the ways that are leading the path into that. Some are like Disney. If you go to Disney World now, no cash anymore at Disney. And I'm seeing several other amusement parks starting to have that. Actually, Waldameer and Erie also, they've done away with all cash. Now, you can use a regular credit card there, but at Disney, you can't even do that. Everything has to be loaded onto their Disney card. That's basically their UBI card, you know. And that's kind of the approach. Even in college, when I was in college, I was actually paid for 2 years to live on campus and be a global science tutor. They paid me. I had my own private room to myself in the dorms. People could come any day or night and get help with tutoring the sciences. But part of that is because our food services was a separate company contracted out. Their contract with the university stipulated everybody living in the dorms has to have a meal plan. And since that's a separate company, the university could not give me a meal plan with that same offer. The problem is I worked in 2 restaurants at the same time. I got all the free food I wanted.
Nice.
But I was still forced to pay however much money for a meal plan, and there was no money involved. It was all tied to an account, and this is going back 25 years, 30 years. I'm getting old. Geesh. But even back in the 90s, It was all tied to that digitally. And if I didn't use that money, it was gone. I could not refund it back. I couldn't get it back. I couldn't use it the month later. I had to use it in the allotted time or it vanished. That's exactly what they're trying to do with digital currencies.
Yeah, and also with digital currency, they can decide what you are allowed to spend your money on.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
In college, what they're going to do, what colleges are going to do, they're going to force it. It's going to be like I foresee it being automatic that everybody gets like a Pell Grant, even like at a community college.
Oh yeah. They're
going to make it to where you can't.
And, well, that's the case right now. The laws right now. If you want to go to a college, even if you're like, I have prepared myself and I have saved up my money, you cannot go to college without taking a FAFSA, which is the thing to give all of your data to all of these guys. That's the problem. Yeah. So
I will never do it. I told mom. Mom wanted to do it. She swore up and down. We helped you, brothers. We got to help you. I know things are tight right now. I said, that's the thing, Mom. Things are tight. I have enough sense to know I can take the courses at a slower pace. It may take me longer, but it's manageable. Yeah, I said, I will not allow you to do that. I will not get out of this car. I told her, I stiff-armed her. I said, I will not get out of this car and do what you're telling me to do because I'm not getting assistance because I know that we have to pay that back. You're not going to be able to pay it back, and I'm going to be stuck with it. And I say no.
Yeah.
I said,
let me get the comments because I wanted. There's a couple comments I want to address. So let's see. Still over on Rumble. Just saw Chris Ty's video on installing Windows 11 using an interesting setting in the time zone US Global. Then Windows 11 doesn't install lots of stuff. Then after the install, you can change it back. That's interesting. DJ Color Zone. Harari of WF wants to hack humans both physically and mentally. I'm going to push back to you. Harari is not part of the WEF. That is not true. And in order to correctly pass the information on, we have to make sure we are accurate, particularly on our side. Harari did 2 seminars for the WEF a couple years ago, along with tons of other people. He is not affiliated with WEF at all. WF has confirmed that. He has confirmed that. The reason I know that, I did a whole article with him at the center of it for the stream. When I did one of my articles on AI religions, we focused on one of his. So he is not associated with WEF. He's a guy they like. He's a guy who's spoken for them before, but he is not associated. He's not some higher up. He's in no way associated. You can look that up. But yes, it is true. He is a highly influential psychopath that does definitely want to hack humans physically and mentally. Completely agree with that. Just don't say he's WEF because he's not. Unfortunately, he is influential, and that's problematic enough. Been running NT Dev's Tiny 11 for 3 months. Spare old machine, and it proves that Microsoft lied to us about Windows 11 only fit for new computers. Really? That's fascinating. Cool. Let's check in over on Odyssey 12, currently watching over there. Let's see. My work uses Microsoft IT department. They let me use Debian and Arch. There you go. With 065 PWA. There you go. Only thing preventing Windows 10 upgrading to 11 is a registry tweak as long as hardware can run it. Had to install Windows 11 on a VM at work. I think pure Arch Linux was easier to install. This is true. Late arrival. Did I walk into a Microsoft hate session? Great. No, not entirely. Well, maybe. I don't know. Was this a Microsoft hate session? Possibly. Yes. Point we're almost offended when people don't even seem to make the effort to learn tech. People want to live in a modern world run by technology, but they want to... Yeah, amen. Amen, Muon. Amen. It's like, yeah, we live in an age that is so technological. If you cannot figure out, we're talking not surface level, if you cannot figure out how to install an email client, if you don't know what an email client is, how to install one, and how to connect whatever email your service you're using to the client and use email and manage your stuff and manage files and install applications and remove them and do basic computer management, you're an incompetent moron in our current society. Okay, it's not particularly hard either, But these are those basic things we have to have a fundamental understanding of because we live in a world run by technology. He says, quote, I want the convenience of technology, but I'm not going to learn how to move a file in a system. Really. Amen. Tech savvy. Okay, go to the BIOS and disable secure boot. What's BIOS? What's secure boot? I think tech savvy in 2023 means you can install an app on an Android or an iSpy brick. Amen to that. I did actually help somebody when I was standing in the Verizon store for a half an hour not being acknowledged. I did actually help random customers with their phones.
I've offended the Samsung Knights. They're all going to come to my house with pitchforks now.
Is Odyssey and YouTube hiding your live feeds?
Because I told them the truth about Samsung.
I don't know. Odyssey's been doing weird stuff today. YouTube, of course YouTube hides my stuff. Of course
always.
It does. We've known that for a while. Although they did make that one video go viral last week, so that was cool.
Why are people so, ride or die for a brand that doesn't care if you live or die? I don't understand.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they do care if you live or die. If you're dead, you can't pay the subscription.
Well, you get your money. You get that money if you're living, right?
Yeah. This is why at the risk of MI, hold on, Mark. I'm trying to word something that not be taken down because YouTube's changing policies again. In order to not violate MI, I don't know, media in DI, MDI, healthiness, MDI. I can say the wellness center does not want you healthy because you don't make the money, and they don't want you dead because they don't make you money. They want you chronically ill to make them money. All right, Mark, go ahead.
Yeah, they don't care. So long as you're in the store and you've got money in your hand, they're happy.
Yeah,
they don't care if you've got cancer. If you can pay $1,200 on a cell phone, I guarantee any cellular store will take you and take your money and smile. That's just business, I guess.
Ashton has another good business question. Ask your advice here. If there's a wildfire in your town, is it too late to get renter's insurance? Not if you have if you're dealing with a really big, massive company that is incompetent as to where the fire is. So if you live in some small town that's right next to the one that's on fire and the fire is quickly heading your way, call quick.
Yeah.
And hope they don't look you up your location.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
I was just going to finish what I was saying and say Yvonne's frozen. I was going to say that the second a better option comes to me that is better than iPhone, for me personally, I will switch tomorrow. It's a matter of the iPhone just suiting my needs better. Mm-hmm. It's not that I'm an iPhone. It's not that I'm an Apple sheep or whatever. It's a matter of fact, I used to hate Apple because I hate the stuff they do. And I love Apple. It's a love-hate relationship. Mm-hmm. Just the hardware and everything just working together.
I unfortunately had to deal with an Apple file yesterday that even Linux couldn't properly handle, and that is a .numbers file. Why does Apple have its own proprietary spreadsheet file that does not
or something?
Work? No, it's a .numbers.
.numbers. Oh,
yeah.
That's
so
weird.
Allegedly, LibreOffice opens them, but it doesn't properly open them.
Right.
Basically, the file was we had exported. One of my clients exported a contact list of 5,000 customers, real addresses, people who really ordered our product. We shipped it out to a company to reverse proxy those and find the email addresses for as many people. That's terrifying. And then they sent it back, and they sent it back as a .numbers file. And then the company ghosted us on the format of the file because they're like, oh, we're computer guys, and they sent out a .numbers file. I'm sorry, what's the percentage of people use Mac? Is it 5 to 10% generously?
Yeah, very few people
5
use
to 10% of their customers could open their file. Okay,
but don't expect the majority of businesses.
Well, that's the problem. And so I sent back a fairly terse email because LibreOffice in theory opens the file type. It quote opened the file type, but it only gave me 255 lines, which sounds to me like it's a memory issue. It's like a memory buffer or something. Curiously, it was 256 technically because there was the header line as well. Well, we're missing, there's 5,000 line items in this sheet. So they're not responding to my email, so I just send it over to a friend of mine that runs Macs and Windows and all sorts of stuff. He gets the file, sends it right back to me after he converts it to that. So the client contacts me again this morning, like, hey, did they ever send you the file? I sent back to everybody. I said, it was a fairly terse. I said, well, the dot numbers file is exclusive to Mac. Only 5 to 10% of people use Mac, so these files really should be sent in a better way. I kind of said you guys are idiots without saying you guys are idiots. To say you guys really need to change your protocol because I can't open the file and I didn't even know what that damn thing was.
It's like if you
I can't even afford the hardware to open it.
Yeah, that's the thing. So in theory, it quote opened, but I even tried. I do have a Mac here. I actually went into my Mac and opened my Mac up. Well, LibreOffice on my Mac only opened one line, so that wasn't particularly useful either. Now that's not. I don't have the official Mac whatever program it is that uses numbers. I'm sure maybe. Microsoft Office probably handles it better. Yeah, don't got that. I'm sure Google Docs might handle it. No, I'm not sending it to Google Docs. There's online converters, but I'm not uploading a customer. I'm not uploading a customer database of 5,000 names, addresses, email addresses, personally identifiable information to some random online free converter. No, I'm not going to do that either. So,
they're probably full of spyware. I imagine those things. Because, some of those look pretty shady.
But now you're going to, for the next few weeks, you're going to see a lot of ads for document converters.
If I do, I'll let you know. I'm doubting I probably will because of how my security settings are set. But,
I wonder if there's something Adobe Documents. I know it's Adobe. God forbid. I don't want to give money to Adobe either. But their document suite, oh my goodness, it's really nice.
But they don't have anything that manages databases or spreadsheets.
Yeah, so that's not really good.
They would do anything in multimedia. I'm sure they could do.
I thought they did.
I wouldn't be doing Adobe stuff either.
But I doubt it. Numbers, yeah.
So first, you can't install Adobe stuff on Linux because they don't want to support Linux. Second, I'm not paying a subscription service to something that GIMP does the same job.
Yeah, well, and everybody's going to, and no matter what we do, it's the way of the future. Nobody's gonna. I still want to get a printer, like a physical printer here, because I do like having the ability to, have some things on paper copies.
Let's see, we got some Linus Tech Tip stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna cover a little bit of the Linus Tech Tip stuff in the news.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna jump on with
stink of the week.
Yeah, I'm not going to jump into a full video on it. I'm just going to mention it.
They did release a video which is going to be for the next week or two. It's going to be the only video that they release, maybe short of the van show. But where all of
they already released a Boo-hoo video.
Yeah, but it's not a Boo-hoo video. Because his wife is one of the people who are in this video, and it without saying it out loud, she has been talking to Linus about this for some time, that they need to change something, and now she is enforcing that we need to do this now. So there is some changes going on, and they're going to do the next week doing nothing but figure out how to go forward with this without making any videos.
So he shoves his wife out to open and close the video that they put out to apologize to everybody.
To understand too, he's always had an open policy. If I remember correctly, he's always had an open policy with his wife. His wife can come in and correct him on anything business-wise. That's my understanding of how they work. So I'm not completely hating on Linus Tech Tips. I'm not going to say, oh, they're horrible, nobody should ever watch them. I personally don't, because I find every one of their videos, first and foremost, it's almost exclusively hardware stuff. I'm not a hardware guy. I don't care. If my computer works,
it's really not even, it's barely tech.
but the problem I have with it is it's so high energy and flashy awful. And this and that. I don't want to watch that kind of stuff. Yeah. I'm not into that type of video. But I've had some issues with them over the years.
Yeah, and my personal opinion is that I think that this is really something that they didn't think through properly, and it's really an accident of some sort, which they should have foreseen, and they didn't for some reason. Maybe because of internal communication problems, which they allude to could be part of the problem. This is part of what they are going to talk about internal for the next week or so in order to figure out how to do forward.
Just a brief FYI, the rain is coming now, and so I might have to get up and move stuff because it's like, and it's going to get loud in here too. So I'm just going to flip through real quick. Wayne Wesley, haven't seen you on the channel before. Thanks for coming along. Windows Stuff on the Linux channel. Is this a joke? Of course. Let's see. Just scrolling through and see if there's anything else really quick because I really got to shut the door that's behind me. Although it feels so nice, I don't want to shut that door, but I'm going to have to, unfortunately.
There's a comment here that I like.
Go ahead. I'm gonna shut some stuff. Go ahead.
Yeah. Someone named Blinking on Odyssey used to build his own gaming rigs and so on. And he gamed on Windows 7 until it was end of life, and then he switched to Linux. And he says that something about GNU Linux makes him want to know his operating system.
Yeah, Tom is actually has a brain in his head because he's kind of bringing some things down. I do that every time it gets to be a bad storm in North Carolina. Because you don't play with the lightning, you don't play with Mother Nature, period. But North Carolina has some really nasty lightning, and I don't trust my surge protectors to hold up. I don't care how good they are. Yeah, I just I cut it off.
Oh, actually, that does remind me. I am actually plugged into the grid right now, but maybe I should.
I hope that wired headset is not actually plugged into anything because that could actually do some damage. If it's
I use a wireless headset, so.
But I mean, if it's in a phone, probably less so. Yeah. If at all.
To be honest, college is overrated. Amen to that. Yep.
I have clients, so it's just a country thing. I have clients that'll be on their cell phones. It's storming. I can't talk right now. Say, honey, you're on a cell phone.
I remember those days.
Not connected to anything.
Electric Albatross on YouTube says that he used random clouds to back up random nonsense like games.
There you go. All right, I think we're going to wrap up here. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. We do have a Christian show tonight. I just got it recorded and uploaded, so we are continuing our discussion on Amos, and this is going to be Return to the Lord and Live Part 2, and this is on Seeking True Justice over on the Christian channel. I'll go ahead and drop the comments in. Tomorrow, right about this time, is going to be Weekly News Roundup. So we got some great articles coming up for tomorrow on Weekly News Roundup. You can join us on over there. And I went ahead and put all those over there. And of course, the Die Master, I got Twitch all to myself. Woohoo! Die Master's over there on Twitch. Tomorrow, Weekly News Roundup. And into Saturday, I actually have 2 videos staged. I don't have any of them produced yet. So hopefully tomorrow I produce a lot of videos and still get client work done. But I don't know. There's a chance we will only have 1 video this weekend. I don't know yet. But we'll figure it out from there. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and we will see you all next time.
Goodbye, everyone.
Good night, folks.